Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
Today we have Matt Hagar with us, and Matt is with AiCRE, which is his own creation. You have come through an interesting line to get there, Matt. You have all sorts of acronyms after your name, so give us a little history of how you got into commercial real estate.
Sure. Thanks, Bruce. Thanks for having me today. So I've been in the industry for 15 years. I am born and raised in Brentwood, which is in the East Contra Costa County. So I've been in the Bay Area my whole life. That's where I've built my career, and done a lot of transactions here and then also throughout the country. So again, throughout my 15 years, I've been doing this. I've done a lot of different things. I've done a lot of deals in this local market. And I previously, before starting AiCRE Partners, I ran the commercial division at Intero, which is a residential branded firm, but it's also a Berkshire Hathaway affiliate. And I was there for 10 years, built a name for myself there. And then just recently built this company with some partners of mine called AiCRE Partners. And it is spelled AiCRE. It stands for Artificial Intelligence Commercial Real Estate, and then Asset Investing Commercial Real Estate. So we are a brokerage to the core, but we try to leverage and utilize technology better than others to create efficiencies and allow agents to do more deals in less time, and also to better service our clients, to give us a unique competitive advantage. And then the asset investing component of our business, it's very important to us and our partners. We've spent a lot of time in this industry. The three of us have 50 years plus of experience, seen a lot of deals, seen a lot of people, really grow their net worth. And, that's a large part through our advice and expertise navigating those deals. And, we feel that our skill set carries over well to, get a seat at the table and be on the investment side and the principal side of the business. And so we really have a really strong desire to do that and invest in our own deals. And not only that, but to partner with our agents in our office and help grow their net worth and build passive income instead of active income. And, that's really should be everyone's goal in our opinion. And that's what we're set up and what we're doing here.
So just for fun, tell us a little bit about the acronyms after your name. You're the only one, there's only one other person that you know of out there with the same grouping.
Yeah, sure. I mean, so I have my CCIM, my SIOR designation, which I'm sure a lot of people know what those are. CCIM is predominantly, educational based, really strong training in financial analysis and, some really high level stuff there. SIOR is, I would consider more production based, pretty stringent brokerage production standards to be eligible for that. So, I have that as well. That's a very small group of people across the country. So very privileged to be a part of that. And then the MSRE is, I have a master's degree in real estate from the University of San Diego, which is a really great program. It's actually the #1 program in the country of its kind. And so that was a really great opportunity for me to do that a few years ago. And so, I did it, and really set me up for where I'm at now of, running a brokerage and doing investing and, having the credibility of, more than, just the experience of doing deals, some real legitimate, education behind me. So that's important for me. So, yeah.
So give us a little clue about some of the artificial intelligence, the AI that you're using.
Yeah, sure. The way that I unofficially kind of refer to what we're doing within AiCRE is I put AI into two buckets, inward facing and outward facing. And, the inward facing is, kind of company facing or agent facing. That's all the stuff that we're doing internally to help drive efficiencies, to save time, to save money, to allow agents to do more in less time, right? We're all 1099 independent contractors, and, 24 hours a day is kind of the great equalizer that, no matter who you are, we all have it, right? And so We just try to optimize that with our systems and our processes. And so we have AI helping our agents in leads and follow up. Our CRM is integrated within AI, so you can search and query it. You can ask for office comps, or you can ask for, a call list of multifamily up to 50 units in San Francisco, or whatever you're looking for. You can just talk to it natively, kind of like a chat GPT kind of thing. We're automating a lot of our, transactional documents, our listing agreements, our, PSAs and LOIs, all of that, integrated via AI, because those are just such time consuming, repetitive tasks. Also automating our marketing, our offering memorandums, where that's done, much quicker and at a very high level using AI. And so those are kind of inward facing things. And then the outward facing that I consider, that would be more client facing, more market facing, and using that to help our clients have a competitive advantage, either scouring, data, looking for trends, looking for, investment opportunities, right? Maybe finding diamonds in the rough where we can scour large sets of data and, find maybe real estate opportunities that would either just not be available or would be too time consuming to kind of practically, do. So that would be more, the properties themselves and the analysis and stuff. So those are the two buckets of what I put, that we're working on. And, again, we're a new company, but it's been very well received so far. And we've been very actively recruiting. We have about 40 brokers to date right now. We're not even at the 1 year mark of our company. So we're growing very quickly. What we're doing is unique with the AI and the investment component, allowing agents to invest into deals. And, it's been an exciting run so far.
So, what's your sort of geographic coverage for your brokerage group?
Yeah, so I have two partners, and they're from LA. So we have offices down in LA. We have two offices down in LA, and then we have three offices up here in the Bay Area, in Campbell, in Walnut Creek, and in Brentwood. And so, but the majority of our agents are in one of those two locations, either the LA area or the Bay Area. But we do have several other agents spread out throughout the country, and I believe we have agents in 6 different states right now, but predominantly in California for the time being, and looking to expand strategically into other key markets over time.
And you're focused exclusively on commercial, right?
Correct. Yes, we are a commercial brokerage. We don't do any residential whatsoever. We do a lot of local geographic deals in the Bay Area and beyond. And then we also have a heavy net lease presence, and we do a lot of net lease investments nationwide as well.
So tell us a little bit about your investment strategy, getting to that passive income.
Yeah, sure. We're evaluating multiple, different investment strategies right now. The main one that we're working with right now is, really more in the net lease vein, value add opportunities, primarily tenant in tow, type deals. Due to our extensive experience in the net lease space, we have a lot of relationships with specific tenants. So, going in, looking at, short-term renewal deals where, maybe there's no more options left, and, way below market rents, where we can either, get a new kind of 15-year deal and, up the value significantly in the near term, or maybe that tenant just isn't the right tenant anymore, and we have, a higher quality tenant ready to come in and backfill them. Deals like that are predominantly where we're starting right now. I am also working on very, very different from that. Just kind of a pet project almost that I've been working on for nearly 3 years, is a ground up development in Brentwood, where I'm from, and I'm building a public market, which is, a larger retail building with, a lot of like smaller stall type tenants, kind of a retail ecosystem, if you will, with a lot of synergy and where they feed off of each other. So that's been an extremely exciting project. We're still in the early phases, hoping to break ground this year though. And so that's another, significant project we're working on.
So are you syndicating these projects, or how are you finding investors?
Yeah, different options, through our company, through our partners. We have an extensive network, as you could imagine, friends and family, capital, things like that. That's predominantly where we've been so far. We haven't had to go any farther than that, in our own capital. So for right now, we're sticking to that. As we grow, as we gain some traction in the space, we might look at, potentially doing funds and things like that later. But right now we're, doing deals as they come, more syndicated structures with, those close to us, our agents as well, right? Our agents have opportunities to invest in these first and foremost. So, keeping it pretty tight knit right now.
So basically just setting up a limited partnership or a limited LLC and then
Yeah,
putting your funds into it and buying property from there.
correct. Pretty standard, syndicated GP LP structure, individual entities per each deal and, kind of one-off projects.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's great. So give us a little clue. Is there one out there that you're currently working on or thinking about?
Yeah, we are. I mean, I can't go into too much detail on those right now, but we are identifying several opportunities. We have probably three or four like what I just described that we're actively looking at right now that we've either evaluated and written offers on, and we're kind of waiting to see how those shake out, or we're evaluating whether or not we want to write an offer. So we are actively in the market. We're putting offers out there and seeing which ones are going to stick. So there are several like that. Like I mentioned, lower term deals, really, really low rents. We really like the prospect of a strong, significantly higher, NOI on renewal that, will significantly increase the value.
Yeah. And in the kind of East Bay area, or where are you looking?
For those, we're looking everywhere. Yeah, we're casting a very wide net, I mean, nationwide, really. As we're looking at stuff, as our agents are looking at stuff, if you're looking to, I don't know, do that with, say, a Burger King or Taco Bell or whatever, right? I mean, you can do that anywhere in the country, right? You don't have to limit that to where you're geographically located. So it's, kind of great for that as well. It just really opens up the search, the net that we can cast for this stuff.
What markets out there are you liking?
Um, we really look at the deals themselves more so than the markets. Again, if we're looking at, say, Burger King's, we really, look at the metrics of the deal. We compare it to the local markets. We have ways of, looking going into really any market and seeing what a reasonable rent would be on a renewal, based at comps and other data that we have. And then, secondarily, we would look at, the market, the demographics and so on. But, we like a lot of the markets that frankly a lot of other people like in the net lease space. And the easiest way to describe it to someone maybe not in real estate or not, doing this is, follow the people is what I say, right? All the migration patterns of the last 5 or 6 years, we're in California. A lot of people have left California, right? And where are they going? They're going to, Texas and Tennessee and Idaho and Florida and Arizona and, all these states that are generally south for the most part. A lot of, more favorable tax treatment, things like that, and so we kind of tend to follow the population as well in, the higher growth states.
So what's your crystal ball saying these days?
Well, my crystal ball, has been in the shop for quite a few years, but I do my best to look at the data, look at the research, constantly reading reports and trying to see where things are going. I think that AI, again, we're very bullish on AI, as are a lot of people. And I think that we are, we're doing our very best to stay ahead of that curve. I think that there's still a lot of people that don't understand the full magnitude of just how powerful it is and of how much it's going to really change fundamentally, being in this industry or any industry for that matter. And I think, people also, more than even how much change, is how quickly that change is occurring and is going to occur. And so, I think that, very quickly it's going to be the haves versus the have-nots kind of thing with those that are adopting AI, and they're going to have a major competitive advantage, and people that have done this for a long time and they may have a really good business and don't adopt. I think that they're going to be left behind quicker than they may even realize, and become irrelevant quicker than they realize. And so again, we've obviously believe in that. We built the whole company around that whole kind of model and mentality. And so again, I think that AI is, it gets talked about so much, but it's warranted. It's not overhyped in my opinion. It's truly incredible some of the things that are being done in the space. And so I really think that that's something to look at. And I mean, market wise, we're doing this here in early 26. All fundamentals seem to be pointing in a good direction for, most markets and most territories. And so we're very optimistic of a rebound this year in commercial real estate. And, seems like supply is kind of shaking itself out in certain sectors, say like office compared to maybe a few years ago. Just read something today about office, being up, which is not something that many of us have read in many years now since, pre-COVID. And,
Right.
and so I think that's a great sign. And, we seem to be in the early stages of a declining interest rate environment, which is obviously good. Who knows how long that's going to last? But it seems to be probably a longer term trend than shorter. If you're a betting man, so to speak, going to be looking at a new Fed chairman here in a couple months, and most likely will be, very pro, lowering of interest rates. And so, that could add fuel on the CRE fire for, the next several years. So we'll see. So overall, we feel really good about where we're at as a company and where the market's at. And, we feel optimistic about a bright future ahead.
Well, that leaves us to where can people get a hold of you, Matt?
Yeah, sure. If anyone has any questions or any interest in anything I'm saying, if you want to dig deeper on, AiCRE Partners and what we're about and the unique things we're doing, I believe my info is in my background here, but also you can reach me on my email, which is mhagar@aicrepartners.com, which is again spelled AiCRE Partners with an S.com. And feel free to reach out, call, email anytime. Would love to connect with you guys and compare notes and, go from there. So always open to conversations.
Well, I'm looking forward to having another conversation with you in the near future here. See how things are going with the Brentwood development and so forth.
Awesome. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate the time and appreciate you having me on today.
Great to have you.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.